14-year-old Filipina girl sings Defying Gravity like a Broadway star. The crowd went wild. Must-watch performance. The hot lights of the stage felt like 1,000 suns pressing down, but to 14-year-old Lara May Santos from Quezon City, they were the first real stars she had ever stood beneath. Her trembling fingers gripped the microphone like a lifeline. From behind the velvet curtains, she could hear the murmurs of the audience, hundreds of strangers waiting to see what a skinny girl in a hand-me-down dress could possibly offer. Her mother stood backstage, clutching a rosary with shaking hands, whispering silent prayers in the language of faith and love. Lara had grown up in a cramped alleyway where the sound of tricycles and street vendors filled the air like background music to her dreams. Every night, she sang to the cracked ceiling of their tiny home, her voice carrying beyond the rusted tin roof to neighbors who would sometimes stop just to listen. "You have the voice of an angel," her mother would say, even on nights when they went to bed hungry. But today, that angel had a chance to fly, on national television, in front of judges whose opinions could change her family's fate forever. The host called her name. The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the room. Lara stepped forward, her bare ankles trembling inside borrowed shoes. When the music started, those first, familiar piano notes of Defying Gravity, she closed her eyes. For a moment, the audience, the judges, even her fear disappeared. It was just her and the dream that had carried her through every hardship. Her voice started softly, fragile, like glass. But with each line, it grew stronger, clearer, fuller. The judges leaned forward. The crowd fell silent, mesmerized. When she reached the chorus, something inside her ignited. She wasn't just singing, she was becoming. The music lifted her beyond every limitation she had ever known. Her voice soared through the hall like a storm of light, raw and real. People began to rise to their feet. Tears glimmered. Phones went up to capture the moment, a once-in-a-lifetime performance by a girl who came from nothing. But halfway through, her voice cracked. Just for a second. A wave of panic flashed through her. The years of ridicule from classmates who called her the slum singer, the times she'd been told her dreams were impossible, all of it came rushing back. Her heart pounded, her hands shook. She could see the judges whispering. The music continued without her. It felt like the world was spinning out of control. And then, from the crowd, a small voice shouted, "You can do it, 8 Lara." She turned and saw a little girl in the front row, thin, barefoot, her face shining with hope. It was like looking into a mirror of her younger self. Something in Lara shifted. She smiled, took a deep breath, and began again. This time, she sang not for the judges, not for fame, but for every child who'd ever been told they weren't enough. She sang for her mother, for the little girl who still believed in magic, for every person who had ever dreamed of defying the odds. Her voice soared higher and higher, the lyrics bursting from her chest with power and grace. When she hit the final note, "You won't bring me down," the entire theater erupted. People screamed. Cheered. Some wept openly. Even the judges were on their feet, clapping through their tears. The main judge, a man known for his icy critiques, pressed the golden buzzer without hesitation. Confetti rained from above. Lara fell to her knees, overwhelmed, as her mother rushed onto the stage, sobbing into her arms. The host bent down beside her. "Lara," he said gently, "how does it feel to have just changed your life?" Through tears, she whispered, "It's not just my life. It's for everyone who feels small. For everyone who still believes they can rise." Backstage, after the show, the same little girl who had shouted encouragement earlier came running up to her. She handed Lara a crumpled piece of paper with a drawing of a microphone and a heart. "You helped me believe that I can sing too," she said shyly. Lara hugged her, feeling the weight of what her music had done. It wasn't just a performance, it was a spark that had lit another flame. Weeks later, videos of her audition spread across the world. People called her the girl who defied gravity and poverty. Messages poured in from across the globe, teachers, parents, even Broadway stars who saw themselves in her courage. But Lara never let the fame change her. She used the money from her performances to build a small music school back in her community, a place where kids like her could dream without fear. Every afternoon, she taught barefoot children to sing beneath the same tin roof where her own dreams had once begun. And sometimes, when the sun dipped low and the world grew quiet, she would smile, remembering that night on stage, the night she truly learned what it meant to defy gravity. Because in the end, Lara's story wasn't just about a girl who sang her heart out. It was about the power of believing in yourself when the world says you can't, and how one act of courage can lift not just one life, but many others, higher than anyone ever thought possible.